Assalamu alaikum. There's always a story behind every sunrise. Dawn begins as the sun ascends, shining light upon the once dark earth. Light intensifies as the phase of twilight is on the verge of approaching, spreading its rays farther and farther before the coming of the sunrise. The sun then begins its descending, preparing for the dark night. Let's look at a journey of the sun. Beauty. This chronology of beauty began at the horizon. The fashion and makeup industries weren't always what we think they are now. In the past, ancient Greek philosophers studied aesthetics as a branch of philosophy. It was the concept of questioning true beauty in all artistic fields, mainly focusing on biological phenotypes, what we are born with, and extended phenotypes, what we use to enhance our natural beauty. Aesthetics was the dawn of the revolution. The first twilight pinpoints how beauty first came to be. The revolution dates back to 3000 BC in Egypt. Pharaohs and commoners used different materials to enhance their beauty, under the belief that those of greatest beauty may live among the gods. These enhancements were essential in distinguishing social classes, especially in places like China. They were nothing but means of representations of cultures, identities, and an important necessity in their lives.
Did the sun rise during this revolution? The answer lies within globalization. Globalization, in its initial stage, began in the 20th century by the new movie industry that forced the first interaction between cultures and encouraged creative thinking. It created a relationship between culture, economy, and the industry itself. In modern day, as the second twilight started to appear, this dynamic is controlled by the mindset of the consumer, which has transformed fashion and cosmetics into an economic tool. The economy has benefited enormously from the industry, ranging from higher paying jobs to higher employment of women.
These impacts show that the beauty industry advocates SDGs 5, gender equality, and 8, decent work and economic growth. But we must ask ourselves, at what cost does all this economic growth come? In truth, at dusk, the impact of the 4 phases of a beauty supply chain reveals that we are tearing down the earth we should be seeking to build.
This process begins with the extraction of raw materials. For the fashion industry, cotton is the most commonly used fiber, nearly 40% of our clothing, taking about 20,000 liters of water to produce just 1 kilogram of cotton.
That's not it. Other than cotton, the production of some synthetic fibers takes up 70 billion barrels of oil each year. Forests across the world are being destroyed to make fabrics we wear every day, cutting down more than 120 million trees yearly. They also cause the death and torture of many animals. Cows are being skinned to give us leather. Sheep are being sheared for their wool. Foxes are forced to be skinned for their fur. And all of this is happening as we speak.
The second phase of the beauty chain is manufacturing, which are the factories that change these materials into garments.
The chemical substances used in makeup do not break down. They accumulate in the world's ecosystems, slowly poisoning our planet. 40 to 50,000 pounds of dye waste enter the sea each year. 20% of all freshwater pollution is made by textile treatment and dyeing. And the beauty industry has been a destructive factor behind the load of air pollution. Worryingly, since some countries such as China are lacking environmental regulations regarding these industries, neighboring countries, manufacturers, and distributors take advantage of this downside by hauling products to such countries.
The third phase of the chain is distribution. Once manufactured, the garments are put in shipping containers and sent to the retailer. There is no way to gauge how much fuel is used to ship clothes worldwide. But 2% of 22 billion new clothing items bought by Americans are domestically manufactured.
Consumers are the last phase of the beauty supply chain and also the biggest contributor to its negative impacts on the environment. When clothing items are no longer wearable and cosmetic products are long expired, these forsaken products comprise the concept of toxic waste. Product packaging makes up almost 45% of trash found in landfills. More than 120 billion units of packaging are produced every year by the global cosmetics industry. If this level of consumption continues, by 2050, there will be 12 billion tons of plastic in landfills, the equivalent of 35,000 Empire State Buildings. The sun has now given up, but the stars are on their way. There is an obvious solution, which is regulating the suppliers and expecting them to uphold the standard of environmental safety. We are doing something to remedy the impact. We are putting environmental regulations both regionally and globally, but these laws are dependent on the factor that we will be wasting enormously. This isn't the right way. We must follow an action plan that produces as little waste as possible and relies on sustainable resources. The economy we must implement is the circular economy. The circular economy focuses on the shift of the consumer's demand of the longevity and sustainability of the product, and in maintaining the condition of the product, which in turn reduces carbon, water, and waste impacts by 10%. When the life of a product is spent, the unwanted products would have 3 possible destinations, none of which are landfills or incineration fields. The first possible destination is the distribution stage of the supply chain. Products would be reused and redistributed to consumers. If a product is in an unfavorable condition, it would return to the manufacturing stage, where it would get a complete remanufacturing to be reproduced once again. The third and last possible destination, the furthest point in the supply chain, and what is previously known as the extraction stage. Instead of extracting new raw materials, manufacturers would receive used materials and recycle them using advanced, innovative technologies. This solution calls for a shift to a diversified and a knowledge-based economy, which is what our country, the UAE, has an entire agenda set for. The darker the night, the brighter the stars, the bigger the hope.
We can save our dark night. We can save our dying earth.
We may differ in terms of the degree of brightness that we emit.
But we remain vital. Despite all the havoc that was caused, we still have the most valuable resource in our hands, time. But it is never too late to implement this action plan that will not only save our earth, but also leave room for bigger visions that could lead us to our tomorrow.